Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is round one of our league tournament that happened at Die Hard Games on May 8th, 2025. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, featuring casual and tournament play of whatever format everyone wants. Free Win-A-Mat Tournament, Thursday, May 15th at 6 p.m. Destined Rivals pre-releases start Saturday, May 17th at 1 p.m. League Challenge, May 29th at 6 p.m. League Cup, May 31st at 12 p.m. And mid-year celebration tournaments will be taking place every Thursday in June, featuring Sun and Moon through Journey Together. Standard switch deck between rounds if you want, GLC, and aceless formats. All Central Time, all at Die Hard Games. Go see more info in this video's description and check out Pokemon's event locator for premiere and other events at the shop, such as league challenges, league cups, pre-releases, and more. Please hit that like button right quick, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, say what you need to say in the comments, and all that other good free stuff. But anyways, let's research this game. On the left, Pikachu, Terra stuff. On the right, Dragapult. It looks like our Dragapult player on the right is going first this round. Actually, it's our Pikachu player. Okay, sorry. The Dragapult player on the right actually drew because they had a mulligan. The player on the left couldn't find a basic on their first draw of 7. So the player on the right got to draw one more card before the start of the game, but our player on the left is kicking us off with Pikachu EX in the active, attaching a Metal Energy to it with its Resolute Heart ability and passing. Not too much action there over on the left, but no supporter was played, so fewer things can go on during that first turn. With that Pikachu with Resolute Heart in the active, though, they're sitting pretty comfortable there. As our player on the right, the Dragapult player, starts their first turn off with an Ultra Ball, discarding 2 cards, Dusclops and Experience Share, in order to search their deck for a Pokemon, basic or evolution. They're eyeing up that Budew, maybe that Tatsugiri. More Dreepy is also very desired in these Dragapult deck starts. Well, let our player take a look through the deck and decide finally on this Tatsugiri to put onto the bench thanks to the Ultra Ball. Attach an energy to the active so that way it can retreat into that Tatsugiri, and then the Tatsugiri uses its Attract Customers ability when in the active spot. You can look at the top 6 cards of your deck and add a supporter card you find there to your hand, but 0 supporter cards there, 0 added, and are they just going in with this lone Dreepy here, ending the turn 1 with it? You can attach the rescue board to the active to get that established, giving it -1 retreat cost, and then just a pass back over to our Pikachu Terra player on the left as they play a Nest Ball to search their deck for a basic Pokemon to put onto the bench. It's that Latias EX and its Skyliner ability, giving all basics on their side of the field free retreat. There is a Crispin in hand, but first gonna Teal Dance, accelerate Grass Energy to that Teal Mask Ogerpon EX and draw a card with its ability. Now they're gonna play the Crispin to search their deck for 2 different basic energy cards, accelerate one to a Pokemon in play and put the other in to the hand. It looks like they're accelerating and gonna go in with this Pikachu EX. So yeah, they accelerate the lightning energy with the Pikachu at Crispin and then attach the grass energy that was pulled out of the deck with Crispin from hand to that Pikachu EX. Something they could have done if they had one more grass energy available. Oh no, Crispin has to find 2 different energies. I was going to say they can load up the Ogerpon on the bench and start attacking with it, since the Pikachu's attack is pretty expensive. But it looks like they have to go about it this way around. So Crispin accelerate all the energy necessary to the Pikachu EX in the active spot so it can use its Topaz Bolt for a grass, lightning, and metal energy, 300 damage, and you discard all energy attached, or 3 energy attached to that Pikachu. But a big cost to pay to knock out this 70 HP Tatsugiri. I guess they take the rescue board off the board as well for 1 prize and set the pace in this game, as our Dragapult player on the right attaches a Psychic Energy to the active Dreepy, and then puts the Hawlucha with the Flying Entry ability onto the board. When that Pokemon hits the bench, you can choose two of your opponent's bench Pokemon and put a damage counter on each. So the uh, Ogerpon and the Latias each receive a damage counter thanks to that Hawlucha ability, and then they fire off the reset stamp. You can only play that pink A-Spec item card if your opponent took a KO on their last turn. When you play it, both players shuffle their hands into their deck. The stamp player gets to draw 5 from the top, and the opponent only gets 2. So we'll see if they can find some more Dreepies or way to find Dreepies off of these 5 cards here to continue to establish their board. Or are they going to be sticking around with the lone Dreepy again? It's okay, but with the A-Spec of the unfair stamp, each energy attachment matters to get that Dragapult attacking, as they put a Duskull on the bench and then play Jacques. That supporter card allows them to search their deck for 2 evolution Pokemon to put into their hand. So we get Cloak for sure, so that way we could see some more cards, hopefully find something like Buddy Buddy Poffin, and a way to retreat would be nice too, aside from manual retreating. So double Cloaks found here off of this Jacques. It evolves in the active spot and then uses Recon Directive to look at the top 2 cards of the deck, keep one and put the other at the bottom of the deck. The Artisan Stadium was found, so we did find at least one more Dreepy. Artisan allows a player to search their deck for a basic non-Roblox Pokemon to put onto their bench. And I'm sure it's going to be another Dreepy. Finally, a second one hits the board here. I guess you're not too worried about that Pikachu attacking you next turn, so you know this Dracloak and Energy Attachment are probably safe in the active spot as they pass things over to our player on the left who does Teal Dance, accelerated Grass Energy to that Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, and then draw 1 card. They're looking for Crispin, would be good. Yeah, that could get a Teal Mask attacking this turn, but they're actually going to have to be playing this Penny here to pick up a basic Pokemon and all cards attached to it, add it to their hand. They rebench the Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, and then so now it's kind of just a new Pokemon, so they can use it's like it's never used Teal Dance. It can use Teal Dance again, so they accelerate that Grass Energy with that ability and draw another card. Desperately looking for resources here, attaching the Power Glass to the active Pikachu EX, attaching a Metal Energy to it, and then passing things over. Now, with the opponent already playing Hawlucha and its flying entry ability, you can safely attach, or pretty safely attach the Metal Energy to the active Pikachu EX, since it has its Resolute Heart ability. If that Pikachu EX is at full HP and then would be knocked out, it's not knocked out, and its new HP instead is just 10 remaining. It only has 10 remaining HP, thanks to that Resolute Heart ability. So you can attach the metal, bet it's pretty safe, and they also got the Power Glass that says in between turns you can accelerate a basic energy from the discard pile. So it's a Pokemon that has that Power Glass attached. So they are slowly building this Pikachu EX back up to be a big threat here coming up in the future. We'll see how our Dragapult player on the right can respond here as they start their next turn by evolving into bench Dracloak and using Recon Directive on the active Dracloak to look at the top 2 cards of the deck. They're going to keep that Ultra Ball in favor of the Crispin, which hits the bottom of the deck thanks to that Dragon ability there. They found a Dusclops and evolve on the bench here, and now use another Recon Directive to look at the top 2 cards of the deck. Iono and Arven are the choices here. They're going to keep that Iono, as I probably would here, put the Arven on the bottom. Attach a Fire Energy to the active Dracloak. Oh my gosh, they've got the Dragapult EX in hand, and this Pikachu is doomed. The thing I was failing to see earlier was there was that Dusclops on the bench, the Duskull on the bench that did evolve into the Dusclops. You make your opponent have it, and they had it. They're able to evolve, and they've got that Curse Blast ability that can get around this Resolute Heart here. But we'll get to that as we see this Dragapult EX in the active evolve. We're about to start swinging and spreading damage here. First, going to use the Artisan to search the deck for a basic Pokemon to put onto the bench. Our player on the left did not use that stadium, so I wonder if they forgot about it or just don't have a target and it wasn't worth shuffling their deck. Either way, Duskull is found and benched on the right thanks to that stadium. Then Dusclops knocks itself out with its Curse Blast ability to place 5 damage counters on the opponent's active Pikachu EX, breaking through that Resolute Heart ability. Pikachu EX has way less than 200 HP remaining, and that's what Phantom Dive does here. Dragapult uses attack 200 to the active, taking the KO, and they can place 6 damage counters on the opponent's bench Pokemon in any way they like. So now they're doing the mathing it up real good here. They both have 1 on them with 200 remaining, so they're already set up for perfect math with Dragapult. So just gonna spread things out here. Place the damage counters correctly. I'm sure our players here are on the bench. And then pass the turn with the Ogerpon EX taking the active spot on the left, using Teal Dance to accelerate a grass energy to itself and draw a card. Another grass energy is found and attached return to that Ogerpon. It can start swinging now for 150 base, I think. Not before the Super Rod's being played here to put some resources back into the deck from the discard pile. Pikachu EX and a couple of basic energy. Myriad Leaf Shower is that Teal Mask Ogerpon EX's attack. I believe it does 30 plus 30 more damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. So maybe it's 120 base, but just depends on what the opponent has attached as well. I'll look this attack up as well so you can make sure everything gets resolved correctly here. Has this Myriad Leaf Shower does do 30 plus 30 more damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. We've got 5 energy, 180 it'd currently be doing to the Dragapult EX with its Myriad Leaf Shower. And it looks like they are just going in for the punch there. 180 damage placed on that Dragapult, and play resumes over on its side on the right. Dusclops evolves on the bench once more, and then Buddy Buddy Poffin is finally found and played in order to search the deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less to put onto the bench. Dreepy and Budu will be the targets here. You establish your pivot Pokemon again. And the Dracloak was evolved on the bench there. Could that Dracloak be evolved? All right, it's been there for a while, excuse me. Thank you for your patience, guys, as I warp through time here in the professor's lab to make sure I'm seeing things correctly here. They're going to attach an energy to that bench Dracloak and then use its ability here, Recon Directive, to look at the top 2 cards of the deck. Keep one of them, put the other at the bottom. They're going to keep the Counter Catcher, just the Ultra Ball away, double Counter Catcher to search the deck for a Dracloak, and then this one, okay, this one should not be evolving here, but I don't think it's going to matter with the end result of the game. I also don't think the opponent is doing anything malicious. I think this is their first time playing here at this league as well, so maybe they've got some nerves. I don't think anything malicious is going on. Also, the biggest thing is both players are responsible for board state, so the opponent should be tracking the board state as well, catching any potential errors or anything. But for the sake of the video, we'll move forward, just track that. And they play the Iono, so both players shuffle their hands, put them at the bottom of their deck, and then draw cards from the top equal to their remaining prize cards. Both players get 4 here. They didn't recon directive either after that Iono, so that was good off of the Dracloak that couldn't be evolved. I don't think it's going to matter here in the end with us seeing another Phantom Dive, 200 to KO the active, and all 6 damage counters go onto the Latias EX on the bench as it moves to the active spot. Pikachu EX found and put onto the bench. And we're eyeing up this Pokegear. That Latias has free retreats thanks to its Skyliner ability into that Pikachu EX with the Resolute Heart, but you're staring down that Dusclops over there, so I think we're just going through the motions here as the player next plays Pokegear 3.0 to look at the top 7 cards of the deck. Add a supporter card they find there to their hand, but nothing. Just like that Tatsugiri earlier. Failing to find the supporters here when we need them most. Both players are. As of right now, the Dragapult board on the right is a lot more developed. And with only 2 prize cards remaining, is the writing on the wall. As Meadow Energy is attacked with the active Pikachu EX, and then it's just a pass. So maybe the opponent would forget about the Curse Blast and not play correctly, but nope, our opponent knows. I could pop this Dusclops, put 5 damage counters on the active Pikachu EX, breaking through the Resolute Heart, and clean up the KO with a Dragapult EX Phantom Dive for the last 2 prize cards of the game. What you think of this video and the commentary? Please leave feedback in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you to our players for letting their game be captured so we can all learn and enjoy. And I'll see you next time in the Professor's Lab.